Riverside African American Historical Society. It's a great opportunity, a pleasure to be here. In 12 days, I will be turning 30 years old. I'm getting up there. But in my 30 years, I have never been a slave, colored, or Negro. But I am the proud product of them all. My black skin represents the mental, physical, and spiritual power of a people snatched from their homeland and used as the mortar to stack the bricks of capitalism, which has built this great country. In my 30th year, I have the opportunity to reflect on events that happened over 150 years ago that affected my forefathers, who have been long lost to time or will never be forgotten. I reflect on events that happened over 50 years ago that shaped the loving parents that brought me into this world and nurtured the man you see today. In January of 1863, this country witnessed an act of civility through political action when President Abraham Lincoln, Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. Army and the Navy, signed into action the Emancipation Proclamation. It required that slaves in certain U.S. territories and Confederate states be relinquished as free men, not yet citizens, but free men. If you made it to certain parts of this country, you were able to leave slavery behind, despite the severe scars that will follow you forever. This proclamation answered prayers that solidified faith with a brighter day and a higher power. As over 3 million enslaved African people in America were released from bondage to determine their own fate. Now, whether this was a political move by a president who was fighting to keep his war-torn country together, or a humanitarian declaration by an honorable abolitionist, doesn't matter, the impact was still great. My home state, our home state, California, was not in the Confederacy or the Union during this days of war, civil rights, and the struggle. But the impact has still been felt. My grandparents are from the southern states that were forced to release their slaves. Monroe, Louisiana, okay. Abilene, Texas. Abilene, Texas. Stevenson, Arkansas. And Houston, Texas. We got some country folk in here. And being a part of that legacy is one of my greatest gifts. I've been handed down a legacy of strong people who were able to build a country and also watch it almost be torn apart just to make it greater again. The impact of the Emancipation Proclamation on me. As a black man today, I understand that in America, I have to know the powerful contributions that my people have contributed to this great country. Yes. Technology, mathematics, science, of course, entertainment. What would we be without jazz and blues, R&B, and hip hop? These powerful gifts from a powerful group of people still resonate today in this country. But one of the most powerful gift that we were able to bring this country is soul. Black people are the soul of this country. From its beginnings and moving into the future. North, South, upper class, lower class, we all deserve to be free. During the times of Emancipation Proclamation, there was a Southern Negro and a Northern Negro. Today, there's an upper class and there's a lower class. There's a bougie, there's a ghetto. There's a have and there's a have-not.
All right.
These are still divides that separate us from the power that we have within our unity. The Emancipation Proclamation was a paper that brought us together. When will we bring ourselves together?
All right.
And there can be no faith in government greater than the faith that we have in our own God.
All right.
We can wait for them to sign bills, we can wait for them for legislation. We can wait for everything to pass when it passed, but if we don't have faith in ourselves and the spiritual power within us to make the changes that we need for ourselves, we have nothing.
Yeah.
And as I address faith, it brings me to the powerful resistance held 100 years later in Washington, D.C. But don't be fooled. Rebellion was always in us, from maroon colonies in the Carolinas to Nat Turner overthrowing slave owners. We were never convinced of being only 3/5 of a person.
That's right.
But 53 years ago, on this day, today, August 28th, in Washington, D.C., we decided to take the resistance to them as we marched on Washington, D.C. for jobs and civil rights. Still looking for equality economically, still looking for equality within our own rights. We ascended on the Washington, D.C. 300,000 strong, black, white, left wing, right wing. The color didn't matter. It was the powerful statement that mattered. That we are here and we want our rights. As we stood in front of Lincoln Monument Memorial, we stood peacefully. And we stood with a purpose. As we were released from slavery in 1863, we were still struggling for equality in 2016. I'm thinking maybe we will get it when Trump built that wall.